Hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about my most used lens when it comes to photography. So I've used a lot of different lenses, all the way from like a 12 mil all the way up to a 600 mil. And surprisingly enough, this one lens is the lens that I have used the most. Now you're about to be very surprised, kind of like I am. But after I talk about it a little bit, it's probably going to make a lot more sense. So what lens is this exactly? It's this guy. This is the Canon 50mm 1.8. It is a pretty good little lens, not gonna lie. A lot of people have this lens. A lot of people use it. A lot of people step up to this lens for their first portrait lens. So why exactly am I using this cheap $125 lens? Here's the deal. I'm a commercial photographer. I do a lot of, what would you say, on location shooting. And that should be the dead giveaway as to why I use a 50mm lens. Location shooting. When I am doing commercial shoots and people send me to a location with a model, a lot of people want part of the location. They want to see the surroundings and more of what the environment is. So I kind of have this rule where I don't want my lens to be too wide where the distortion gets too crazy, but I want it to be just wide enough so I can get enough of that environment in there. And this is where that little 50 definitely comes in use. This is where it does this the best. It is wide enough to the point where you can get a bit of that environment in there, but it's still good enough to do some portrait work with it. This lens is also pretty darn good. It's pretty sharp. It does all right. It has an aperture of f1.8, so if I want to get a bit of a shallower depth of field, I can do that. But the great thing is, when you shoot at f1.8 and you kind of step back to get more of that environment, you don't get a blurry background to the point where it's distracting, where like there's almost too much blur. If you were shooting something like maybe a 85 1.2, I think that can get a little distracting, but I mean, an 85 is more for separating the subject. So I guess there's that. But so this seems to be just enough. So, I think that the 50mm is a great standard portrait lens. It's actually coming back into popularity. A lot of people are shooting with a 50mm, so nothing wrong with this little lens. It is great. It is pretty sharp. It does just fine on my 5 DSR. And again, like I said, has enough background blur to the point where you can get the idea that there's a bit of a background blur, but it's not too distracting. Most of the time I stop this lens down, so it doesn't really matter anyway. The f1.8 means nothing to me. So yeah, there you go. This is my most used lens, the 50mm 1.8. I was just as surprised as you are. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, if you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below. I'll be sure to get to those, and I'll see you guys in the next video.